Hello and welcome to lesson number 1 of BIOS repair course. Okay, my name is Claudio Silva and I will be your host. In this lesson I will teach the fundamental principle so that you will be able to repair all BIOS. Okay, one important thing to take notice, okay, is that lesson number 1 and lesson number 2, they are the most important lessons of the whole course. Okay, so if you do not exercise, if you do not practice lesson 1 and lesson number 2, you will not be able to fix any bias. Okay, you need to learn, you need to study, you need to comprehend how to prepare a bias. Okay, so lesson number 1 is preparing bias part 1 and lesson number 2 is preparing bias part 2. Okay, you need to study and fully understand lesson number 1 and lesson number 2. Okay, so I will teach you now, okay, the first method. Okay, so for this course it's very important to always have the backup file, the original file or the original BIOS from computer. Okay, because it's on the backup file where we get all the necessary information and directions for repair and recovery the BIOS. Okay, that's why I always ask the backup file when someone asks me if I have that specific BIOS that he wants. I always ask, send the original dump. Why? Because in the original dump we have all the information, all the necessary information concerning to that specific computer. Every BIOS is specific, every BIOS is unique for that computer. Okay, so as we are technician, we don't have to use the same BIOS from another computer to another computer. Okay, every single BIOS is unique. Okay, because every single computer is unique. Okay, we need to fully understand that every time we need a BIOS for that specific laptop or desktop, we need to build a new one. Okay, we do not need to pick up a BIOS from a forum and just program another one. Okay, that is wrong, because when we do that we are putting the same information from the other computer, from the other laptop, from the other desktop. We are putting the same information on our computer. We are just creating a clone from the other computer. Every technician needs to learn how to make a brand new BIOS. Okay, that's why you are being part of this class. Okay, you are learning how to make a brand new BIOS for your computer, for your computer client. Okay, so for this course, okay, we will always need in every lesson the original backup BIOS from computer. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, so for this lesson we will need 3 things: original BIOS from the computer. We will need WinRAR, WinZip. Another software we will need is 7-zip and an X editor. Okay, I will send all these softwares to you. Okay, but in X editor you can use whatever you feel free. Okay, you can use Ultra Edit, X Edit, you can use Cygnus, you can use X Workshop. Okay, I will send you X Workshop because all these lessons, all these 10 lessons, I will be using X Workshop, and I will send to you X Workshop. Okay, so you can practice and practice and practice here. So once we have all the software in hand, let's go and get to work. Okay, so as has been said, we need to have the original backup from the computer. Okay, after we have the original BIOS, we need to go to the manufacturer's website to download the update from the manufacturer's website. Okay, so for this lesson, I have chosen the Aspire E1 422. Okay, so you can choose Asus, Toshiba, uh, uh, whatever brand you feel free. Okay, so for this lesson, I'm sorry, but English is not my first language. Okay, my first language is Portuguese, and I'm not so I don't speak English on my daily. Okay, so if you don't understand something that I said, okay, just ask me back, because all students have 5 weeks of technical support on bias. Okay, so feel free to use, because I'm Portuguese and I'm used to speak Portuguese. I speak Portuguese on my everyday, on my daily. Okay, and I don't speak English, okay, in my daily. So for this lesson, I have chosen the Acer Aspire E1 422, okay, original backup. Okay, this is in Portuguese. In Portuguese we say backup original, but in English is original backup. Okay, all my computer is in Portuguese, so I will translate to English. Okay, here, so we have this original backup from my computer. Okay, after we have the original backup from my computer, I will need the update from the website, from the Acer website. Okay, that's what I'm going to get. Okay, and now we are currently in a manufacturer's website, and we can see the area of selection. I have selected notebook. Let me just pick up my pen right here, and I will show you notebook in green. Acer is my manufacturer website. Okay, notebook Acer Aspire right here. Okay, and the family Aspire E1 422. Okay, and now we press enter. When we press enter, we are taken to, let me see, drivers. As you see, we are taken to drivers. As you can see, drivers. In drivers, we can choose driver, documents, BIOS, some patches, application, and operating system. Okay, and we choose BIOS because we are working with BIOS. Okay, and the BIOS will show up and we download it. Here, BIOS Acer 2.06. Okay, Windows.zip right here, and then we press download to download the BIOS. Once we have downloaded the BIOS, we will have a zip file named BIOS Acer 2.06. If we go back, we see right here BIOS Acer 2.06. Let's go forward, and we already downloaded BIOS Acer 2.06. This is the update BIOS from the manufacturer's website. Okay, right here. So now we need to work on this BIOS. For what? To make it work. Okay, because if we program all this information on our EEPROM, the EEPROM, this BIOS, this computer will not work. Okay, so we need to work on this zip file and this Acer Aspire E1 backup original file from my computer. Okay, right here. So when we download the BIOS from the manufacturer's website, in this case Acer, okay, it could be Asus, Toshiba, okay, Sony, HP, whatever. Okay, I have choose Acer. Okay, when we download the BIOS from the manufacturer's website, the BIOS comes compressed in RAR format. Okay, so we will need the WinRAR software to unzip or unpack. Okay, so we click with the right button on our touchpad, and we choose extract to BIOS Acer 2.06. Okay, right here. After we extract to, okay, we have open, abrir in Portuguese means open, extract files, extract here, okay, but we don't choose extract files and extract here, okay. We choose extract to BIOS. Why? Because it will create a folder, okay. It will create a folder with all the documents inside of it, okay. So after we get this folder right here, okay, BIOS Acer 2.06, okay, this has the same name of the zip file right here, okay. We need to open this folder and get the .x file, okay, the .x file, okay. I'm sorry, but in Portuguese we say .x file, okay, but in English they said .x, okay. Right here we have opened the BIOS Acer folder, and we have the readme document and this .x file, okay, RXB 10 20 and number 6, okay. This is our X file, okay, .x file, okay. Right here at this point we will use the 7-zip, okay, the software 7-zip, okay. We will not use the WinRAR, okay. Why we are not using the WinRAR? Because the WinRAR won't let us decompress the .x file. As you can see, there is not extract to anything, okay, on WinRAR. So as WinRAR won't let us work, okay, we will need another decompressor, okay. So in this moment we will use the 7-zip software, okay. Open file, extract here and extract to a folder named RXB10 20 and number 6, okay. And we will choose extract to a folder named RX, okay. So all the documents, all files can be organized, okay. We will choose extract to, okay, and we are using 7-zip, okay. We are not using WinRAR, we are using 7-zip right here, okay. And it created another folder, okay, another folder called RX B10 20 and number 6, okay. So the folder was created with the same name as the .x file, okay. Now we will open, right, and now we will open and just unpack it again, okay. Right here, next, okay. Right here we have opened the folder right here, as you can see, okay. We have opened the folder, and now we will use the 7-zip again to decompress or unpack this .x file inside the folder, okay. Right here, RXB 10 20 and number 6, okay. And now let us unpack it again, okay. And finally we have all the files you were looking for, okay. But what we really want in all these files, file ding, file hook, FLS hook, firmware update, inside flash, all the DLL, okay. What we are looking for exactly is the .fd. This is our BIOS, okay. This is the file we need, okay. This is our BIOS right here, okay. fd v26s.fd, okay. Right here, fd means file decrypted, okay. f206s.file decrypted, okay. This is our BIOS, the BIOS we need to work, okay, right here. So we grab this file named v206s.fd and we copy and paste to the beginning, right here, bias test, okay, bias test, and we paste it here, okay, next to our original bias. And this file have no use to us because all we wanted is the update from manufacturer, okay, right here. And as we can see, the original bias is smaller than the update from the website, from the ASA website. Okay, so we need to work. So this v206s.fd must match the same size that the original backup from computer. Okay, this original computer is damaged. Okay, we will not use it. We will only use the data inside of it. Okay, we will only use this original one right here, so we can make the firmware update from the manufacturer to be exactly the same as the original that was on bias computer. Okay, so on this moment, let me just erase some things right here to not make a mess. Whatever. Okay, now we will open this updated BIOS with our X workshop. Okay, as I have said before, you can use whatever X editor you want. Cygnus, Ultra Edit, X Edit, whatever. Okay, it's your choice. Okay, for this course I will use X workshop version 6.7. okay, and now I choose the BIOS from the website ASA. Okay, and I click with the right button and I will choose open with X editor. Okay, X workshop 6.7, and I will open this file to start work on it right here. Okay, as we can see below, right, in the program we have two open files. Let me show you. We have two open files. Okay, aquí. But in this window we can only see one. Okay, but we need to see both. Okay, this V206 is from website and Aspire E1 422. Okay, for 2022 it's my backup original from my computer. Okay, but I need to see both. Okay, so I will press the option window. The option window, and I will choose tile vertically. Okay, once I have done that, I press enter. Okay, and I will have both bias side by side. Okay, so in this moment I can see both bias and I can work on both bias. Okay, right here. And so with this method we can get the bias both bias side by side in order to compare the data and modify what we need to change. Okay, and change what we need to change. Okay, now we will prepare the bias. Okay, so the bias backup in this lesson will not be recovered. Okay, my original backup bias will not be recovered because the data in it's damaged. Okay, it's damaged, it's password protected. Okay, I will not use it. Okay, what I will do is create a brand new bias. That's why in the beginning I have said that we as a computer technician, we need to learn, we need to know how to make brand new bias. Okay, we need to lose this addiction to go to forums and just pick up a bias, a used bias from another computer. Okay, we need to learn how to make brand new bias. Okay, so I will not use my bias again. Okay, I will simply use the information, the data the information inside my bias, okay, but I will make a brand new bias. Okay, so the backup bias I took from my computer, okay, it will not be recovered, it will not be used because the information is damaged or is password protected. Okay, so the bias that we will use to program our EEPROM, it will be this one right here. Okay, v206s.fd, it means file decrypted. Okay, here, right here. Okay, we will use this one here because it's a clean bias with no password. Okay, it is simply with the machine will receive a brand new bias. Okay, so looking for both bias, okay, we can see some differences. So this bias, this brand new bias from the website, from ASA website, it starts with 4D 5A 0000, and my bias that I have backed up from my computer, it starts with 02 04 00 and 02. Okay, as you can see, they start clearly different. Okay, this shows MZ, it means package, it means an .x package, and this one starts with simple dots, nothing right here. Okay, so as we can see, they are different and they need to look the same, they need to be the same. Okay, right here. So definitely both bias are not equal, are not the same. Okay, what this means? It means that the manufacturer bias has much information than my backup bias. Okay, why? Because manufacturer's bias come with commands to be installed by DOS, DOS, by DOS, or by Windows. Okay, .x. That's why we have all this information. Let me just show you. Okay, that's why we have 4.5 megas, and right here we have 4.0 megas. Okay, all this it's so-called exceeded information. Okay, this exceeded all this exceeded information, it's called right here. Okay, appears right here because the original bias, because the bias from the manufacturer's website, it's this bias. Okay, this bias from the manufacturer's website, it was made to run by DOS or by .x. Okay, not by injection. We will inject this bias on the EEPROM directly with our programmer. Okay, so as we will not reprogram bias by DOS or not by Windows, okay, .x, we will not need all this exceeded information. Okay, it is called exceeded information. Okay, right here. Okay, so we need to remove all this exceeded information for BIOS look like. Okay, right here. So how do we work on this BIOS right here to make it look alike my BIOS from my computer? Okay, let me just again try to erase all the ink on my PowerPoint. Okay, so we select the first four group of hexadecimals on my backup BIOS. Okay, that's why we always need the original BIOS from computer. Okay, this BIOS it's damaged. Okay, I will not use it again because it's not damaged. Okay, but the information inside of it is essential for me to know where to start and where to end. Okay, so we will choose these four. 1, 2, 3, 4. This first four group of numbers in hexadecimal. Okay, 02, 04, 00, 00, 02. Okay, with this selected, let me just, okay, with this selected, okay, we now choose the option copy. Okay, when we choose this option copy, Okay, copy right here. Then we go to our bias from manufacturer right here, bias from the manufacturer right here. We put the cursor, we put the mouse right here on this offset. Okay, that is 8 zeros. We put our cursor, our mouse on the offset 0, all zeros. Okay, right here we click on the binocular option. Okay, it means search. This binocular right here means find. Okay, find or search. Find, as we can see here, find. This binocular right here means find. We press find, and this colar in Portuguese means past in English. Okay, we have copy, and now we are doing the past. Okay, copy paste, and now where it says value, we simple paste right here the number we have copied on my original bias right here. 02040002. Okay, 02040002 right here. Okay, and we just paste it right here. Okay, after we paste it, we press OK, as you can see here. After we press OK, we will find the number we are looking for. Okay, the 4 hexadecimal group. Okay, 1 group, 2, 3, and 4 right here. 0, 2. Okay, and as we can see, from this point down, the bias look the same. Okay, look here, exclamation point, exclamation point. Okay, hashtag. Okay, as we can see, it's the same. Okay, it looks the same from this point down, from this point to the end. Okay, so at this point we find the piece of codes. Okay, at this point of our bias from manufacturer, we find the piece of code which starts the bias. Okay, as we have in the original bias. Okay, right here. So now we select from 02040002 to the top. We will choose from here to the top. Okay, to the top. Let me show you right here. Okay, so we will select to the top to the offset 0. This is the offset to the offset 0 right here. Okay, okay, once we selected from the 02040002, okay, from the bias that we have downloaded on the ESA website, we select to the top. Okay, and once we have selected, we just press delete option. Okay, right button of our touchpad, and we choose delete. Okay, so all this information will be deleted. Okay, we don't need this information. Okay, this information is called exceeded. Okay, it is used when we update bias using DOS, DOS, or Windows. Okay, .x. We will not use Windows or DOS to update our bias. Okay, we will insert all this information directly on our EPROM using our programmer. Okay, so we don't need all this exceeded information. Okay, so we need to remove it. So how do we know how to remove? Okay, that's why we always need the original backup. Okay, we will not use the original backup on our computer, but the information inside of our original BIOS, it's gold. Okay, it's priceless. It's this information that we will follow, so we can have this backup, so we have this BIOS from the manufacturer website, like my BIOS, like my damaged BIOS. Okay, so my BIOS start with 02040002. Okay, so this BIOS taken from the Acer website must start with 02040002. Okay, right here. So we delete all this exceeded information. Okay, and we delete all that exceeded information. Okay, we don't need that information. So on the offset 0, as we can see, they start equal. Okay, if we compare all the offsets 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. Okay, as we see, all the offsets have the same value. Okay, so all the beginning it's equal, all the beginning it's the same. Okay, here, so now we have the original backup BIOS from my computer and the update from the website with the same header. Okay, like here, and that's exactly what we want. Okay, now let's work at the end of the BIOS so that we have two equal BIOS. Okay, just after that we can program our EEPROM. Okay, this is the header, this is the beginning. Okay, that we have cut down, we cut off. Okay, we removed the exceeded information. Okay, now that we have the header equal, we will start working on the bottom. Okay, on the bottom. So always using the backup BIOS. Okay, backup BIOS. We always need to use the backup BIOS. Okay, don't forget that we always need to use the backup BIOS. Okay, within time, within practice. Okay, you will start. You will begin making your own BIOS without the backup BIOS. Okay, but that will take time. Okay, that will take effort. That will take practice. That will take exercise. Okay. I do BIOS repair. I'm sorry. I'm not used to speak English for this long time. Okay. I do BIOS repair. I do BIOS repair. Sorry, I do BIOS repair. Okay, for a few times. I can do BIOS, I can repair BIOS, I can make a brand new BIOS without the original BIOS. Okay, but that takes time. Okay, and you will be the same, but the backup BIOS is always necessary. Okay, on BIOS with 8 megabytes. Okay, we can not use, okay, the original. Okay, we can pass that phase. Okay, but it's always needed. Okay, I can't explain better. Okay, if this was in Portuguese I could explain better, but in English what I'm trying to say is, as you are learning the principle, the basic of BIOS repair, you will always need the original BIOS. Okay, within time the original BIOS it will not need. Okay, but as you are learning, okay, I'm sorry, I'm confusing with my words. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is, for you that you are starting now, okay, the backup BIOS is always precious. Okay, always precious. Okay, within time you will not need the backup BIOS. Okay, but as you are learning, the backup BIOS, it's urgent. Okay, you will always need the backup bias. Okay, so continuing with my backup bias, we will start looking for the end of my bias. Okay, why? My backup bias is always right. Okay, my backup bias, it will always point the beginning and the end. That's what we need. We need the beginning and we need the end, because when we download the bias from the manufacturer's website, the beginning is slightly different as we have seen before, and the end sometimes it can be different. Okay, so as we don't know where to start and where to end, okay, we will always need the backup bias. Okay, right here. So we move down on my backup bias, we move down to the end. This is the end of my bias, of original bias from computer, and as we can see, we have a lot of dots. Okay, we will not use these dots. We always use something different. Okay, some letters, beside letters, some signals. Okay, but not dots. We don't use dots. Okay, so the last letters that we found is the PA. Okay, we always choose a group of 4. Okay, a group of 4. So we have choose 00 BF 5041. Okay, and now we copy, we select the PA dot dot, it means 4150 BF 00. Okay, and now we just pass here, okay, this slide, and we copy all this information. Okay, this PA dot dot or dot dot PA. Okay, because this is the last usable, that last useful information. Okay, because we will not use this F6 right here. Why we will not use this 00 B0 F6 FF? Why not? Because we will find a lot of this information. Okay, we will find a lot of this information. Okay, so we need the specific data, the specific information that will lead me to the end of this file. Okay, so we always pick something different. Okay, we never pick dots. Okay, points, dots, we never. Okay, so we copy this information. Okay, X values. Okay, we do not select the PA. Okay, PA is not hexadecimal, it's letters, it's text. Okay, it is called text, it's not hexadecimal. Okay, right here we have X values, hexadecimal values. This is hexadecimal. Okay, this is a group of 4 values, hexadecimal values. Okay, we copy this information 00 BF 5041 and we paste it on it says value. Okay, text, it means dot dot PA, exactly what we have here, dot dot PA, dot dot PA, and we press OK. When we press OK, we finally find the PA information, PA data, PA, okay, dot dot double dot PA. Okay, and this is the bottom of my bias. Okay, as we can see right here. But as we can see right here, we have more information. As we can see, my scroll, it's right here, and we still have lots of information right here in this middle. Okay, in this middle we still have information, so we do not need this information. Okay, we do not need all this information. Why? Because as I have said in the beginning, this is the exceeded information. This is used when we update our bias using DOS or Windows.X. we will not use dash and we will not use .x. Okay, we will use our programmer to program our EEPROM IC. Okay, so we don't need this information needs to be deleted. Okay, so this bias can be equal to my backup bias, okay, so we have PA right here and we have PA right here. So my bias doesn't finish on the PA, it finished right here. My bias finished here, my bias finished here. Okay, so as we have PA and PA, it is simple to see where the bias ends. Right here, F6 FF, B0 FF, right here. Okay, FF F6 B0. Okay, my bias ends here. Okay, my bias, it ends here. Okay, so what I have to do is to select all this information down. Okay, select all this information and delete it. Okay, because I don't need. I need that this bias V206S.FD to look alike my bias taken from my computer. That's what I need. Okay, so I will select all this information and we will delete it. All this information that we have here and we don't need it. Okay, after we do that, after we deleted that information, we will end up with this bias completely the same as my backup bias. Okay, so as I have said before, I will not use my backup bias, my original backup bias. Why? Because it is damaged. Okay, I don't know where it's damaged and I really don't want to know. Okay, because this is all messy. This is this is a bunch of information. Okay, on lesson 9 or 8 I will teach you better. Okay, you will see better what I'm talking about. So this is a bunch of information. Okay, what I have to do is my bias is damaged, it's password protected. Okay, ASA website, download the update, download a brand new BIOS, remove the header, remove the bottom, and make my new BIOS, the data information, the beginning, the end, the length of each one, okay, equals the same. Okay, right here we have this 4 megabytes BIOS that I have made. This 4 megabytes BIOS, the offset right here, the offset is 4,194 something 304. Okay, sorry, my English is not good. Okay, but this is the offset of 4 megabytes. Okay, this is the offset for 4 megabytes. Okay, let us count down. Okay, let us count. Let me just pick up my mouse. This is the 97 right here, 98, 99, 300, 301, 302, 303, and 304 right here. Okay, this is the offset. Okay, now the BIOS is ready to be programmed on our EEPROM, and our ASA will work perfectly. Okay, without password protected, without nothing. Okay, we have just made a brand new BIOS ready to work on our computer. Okay, this is the first step of preparing a BIOS. Okay, so now I will teach the second method that we use to prepare our BIOS. Okay, the other method to prepare the BIOS is using the offset. Okay, I have just spoken about the offset. The offset is right here, 04194194297. Okay, this is the offset. Okay, all this information on the left corner, on the left side, is the offset. On the middle, on the center, we have the hexadecimal, and on the right side we have the text. Okay, all text information. Okay, words, text, words. Okay, so the second method from this lesson number 1 that we can use to prepare our bias is using the offset. All this information, all this data on the left side of our X editor. Okay, so let's start again. Okay, no, but before, let's save our work. Okay, let's save our work. Before we start the second method, we need to save our work. Okay, because this bias is already ready to work. Okay, so file, we press file and option save as, and then we give a name like ASA Spire E1422 fixed, okay, or clean or repair. Okay, it's ready to use. Okay, so for the second method we will open again both bias. Okay, my original bias and the bias that we have downloaded from the ASA website. Okay, here. So as you know, the bias are not equal, the bias are not the same. Okay, as we have seen before, this starts with 02, 04, 00, 02. Okay, and this starts as a package. Okay, as a .x file package. Okay, MZ, it means a package, it means that it belongs to a package. Right here, 4D 5A 0000, right here. Okay, so as we have seen before, they are not equal, they are not the same. This bias taken from the website, from the ASA website, needs to be worked. Okay, so now let's work, okay, on the bias using the offset. Okay, I'm sorry about this. Okay, this is this was wrong. Okay, this was a mistake. Okay, this was a mistake. Okay, so let's start by picking up. Okay, let's go to the beginning of the backup bias. Right here, this is my backup bias. Let me just see where's my, okay, it's here, my point. Okay, this is my backup bias, and this is the bias taken from the ASA website. Okay, so we need to go to the beginning of my backup bias. Okay, and we select 02040002, as we can see right here. Okay, we copy this group, this 4 group of hexadecimal information, and we copy and we pass for the bias that we have downloaded from the website. Okay, and now we have found where it started. Okay, the offset is 000818882. Okay, this is the offset where it starts. Okay, this is 82, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 88, no, 87, 88. Okay, it starts right here on the offset 88. As we can see right here, okay, it confirms 88, 81, 888, 81, 882. Okay, 2 is right here in the beginning, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 88. Okay, data means information. Okay, data at offsets. Okay, it means that my cursor is at the offset 81, 888, 888 right here. Okay, so as we have seen before, we will select all this information up and delete all this information to the top. Okay, right here when it says MZ, it means .n. Okay, and we don't need this information because this is not a package. I will not use it as a package. Okay, and we will simply remove all this information. Okay, information removed. We have the header exactly the same. Okay, right here, as we can see, right, as we have seen before, this information is the same. Now let's go to the bottom. Okay, let's go to the bottom. The bottom right now, it will be simpler than before. Why? Because we will work with the offset. As we know, the offset of 4 megabytes, it's let me see right here, 4194 94 30 and 4. This is the offset for 4 megabytes. Okay, knowing this, it will be very simple. Okay, as we have seen, the both BIOS start with the same. Okay, if it starts the same, it means that this BIOS taken from ESA website, it will be longer. Okay, it will not finish on the offset 4194 30 and number 4. It will not end right here. Okay, it will pass. So what we need to do is just simple click on this option right here. Okay, this option means go to. Okay, this binocular means find or search, find, and this it looks like a paper, something like that. Okay, it's the option go to. Okay, in the option go to right here, we press option go to and we select the offset of 4194 304. Okay, because this is the offset where the BIOS will end. This is this offset right here where the BIOS end right here. After we insert this information, okay, this 41 94 30 and number 4, we press go. We will press go. When we press go on our BIOS taken from the ESA website, we will find the exact point where BIOS ends. Okay, right here, because this is the offset. We can use PA to track the end of the BIOS, or we can use the offset. Okay, we can use the offset to track the end of the BIOS, because when we cut off the header, okay, the beginning, it was the same, it was equal. Okay, so if the beginning is equal, they will have the same codes until the end. Following the code of my original BIOS, we see that the code ends right here. So we need to see this offset. This offset is 41 94 30 and number 4. This is the offset where my original BIOS ends. So is this information that I need to look on the BIOS taken right here, on the BIOS taken from the website. Okay, so all this information right here, okay, if we count, we have 97, 98, 99, 300, 301, 302, 303, 304. Okay, exactly what is here, 304. This is the offset. All this information needs to be deleted. Okay, right here. How did I do this? Very simple. Okay, I just push back some slides. Okay, and this is the offset 41 94 34. Okay, we have rearranged the header. Okay, so the header would be equal to my original backup from my computer. Okay, we go to the go to option and select it. Once we selected, this optional window will open. On the offset, we just put the information of 41 94 34, okay, and press go. Okay, after we press go, it will appear right here the offset point. Okay, this is the offset point 00 B0 F0 FF 00 B0 F6 FF. Okay, this is the end of my BIOS. This is the end of my BIOS. Okay, with my mouse, with my touchpad, I select all this information down to be deleted. Okay, all this information need to be deleted in order for me to be able to use this BIOS, okay, on my computer. Okay, all this information will be deleted right here. Okay, I press delete, and all that information, okay, was deleted. So after we delete all the information, we will end up with equal BIOS. Okay, this BIOS right here, taken from the manufacturer, from the ASA website, is equal to my damaged BIOS. The only difference is that my original backup BIOS is not working, is damaged. Okay, it is not working. So I will not use this BIOS. This BIOS is for my garbage bin on my Windows. Okay, this is the correct and useful BIOS. Okay, password free, overclock free. Okay, it's a brand new BIOS, never used. Okay, right here. So we save. Right on, we save. Okay, we press file. After that, we press save as. Okay, it's in Portugal. It's in Portuguese. It says guardar como, but in English it says save as. Okay, and the name I have chosen is Aspire E1 422 prepared. Okay, this is Portuguese. Okay, because I teach this course in Portuguese language. Okay, it says prepared. Okay, you can put clean, fix, repaired, whatever you want. Okay, or just Aspire E1 422. Okay, just okay, and you save it on a folder that you know. Okay, and BIOS is ready to use. Okay, so this was lesson number 1. Okay, tomorrow we will have lesson number 2. Okay, any doubts? You have my Skype, you have my WhatsApp, you have my Facebook. Okay, any doubts? I am Claudio. Okay, I will be I'm sorry need water. I am Claudio. Okay, and I will be teaching all the 10 lessons on BIOS repair course. Okay, this is model number 1. Okay, and next lesson tomorrow I will teach you lesson number 2. Okay, how to prepare BIOS. Okay, this is lesson number 1. Study. Okay, as I have said before, if you don't learn lesson number 1 and lesson number 2, okay, the principles, the basic, the fundamentals of working on BIOS, okay, you will not you will not be able to fix any BIOS. Okay, this is the basic. Okay, this is the ground plane. Okay, the ground place of working on BIOS, lesson number 1 and lesson number 2. Okay, I will now close my record, okay, my Bandicam. Okay, and I will now open the chat. So if you have any doubts, okay, just write it on chat and I will answer back. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, okay, so I'll see you tomorrow for lesson number 2. Okay, any questions after, just email me. Okay, just find me on Skype. Okay, let me just see if I can write it down a key for our students offline. No, I can't. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, this is my Skype. Okay, this is my Skype. Okay, .com. This is my Skype. Okay, add me on Skype. I'm on Telegram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on WhatsApp. Okay, follow me, and it's my pleasure, okay, to answer all your questions, okay, people. So it was almost 1 hour of lesson, okay. I hope you enjoyed. Any question, okay, feel free to ask me. Don't be ashamed, okay. And once again, I'm sorry for my English, but my first language is Portuguese, okay. I'm not used to speak English for that long of time, okay. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson, okay. Today is 16th of June, okay. We start a new class, okay. So I will now close the record, okay, my Bandicam, and I will open the chat so we can chat, okay. So okay, people, okay.